Power for Living with Bishop Dale C. Bronner.
Laws that bless. This is part 6, and we are on law number 8 in this session. Exodus chapter 20, laws that bless. And these are laws that bless. They don't bind, they bless. They put us in a position of blessing and divine protection, and we are most appreciative to God for his incredible protection and blessings that he brings into our life and that he so beautifully covers us. But we're going to do our review. Hold up one finger. Remember, the Lord our God is one. Thou shalt have no other God before me. That means that you give God first place. He'll have first place in your life or no place at all. He's either Lord of all or not Lord at all in your life. So we give him first place. 2, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image of any likeness of anything that's in the heaven above, the earth beneath, the waters under the earth. So no two things alike. No graven image. Don't try to duplicate God. Don't try to have any substitute for God. No graven image. Number 3, watch your words. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that takes his name in vain. 4, remember your thumb is resting. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all of thy work, but the 7th is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, and in it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor anything that is within thy gates, the stranger that is within thy gates. 5, pull it back, honor your mother and your father. It is through honor that God brings blessings into your life. When you honor eldership, when you honor those that have helped you to grow and to develop in your life, as we pledge our honor to God in honoring our parents and those who have taught us and helped us to grow and to develop. 6, remember thou shalt not kill, like a 6-shooter. Thou shalt not kill. 7, remember the bed, 2 folks in the bed. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not commit adultery. And then that brings us to number 8. Then number 8, you want to take 4 fingers on each hand, bring them up to your eyes. Thou shalt not steal. You'll be behind bars. These are the prison bars you'll be looking out from. You get locked up. So we don't want anybody locked up. You just remember the 8th law is thou shalt not steal. Verse 15, Exodus chapter 20, verse 15, you shall not steal. You shall not steal. You'll be looking from behind steel bars. So remember, that's number 8. So here's where we are in this session. Thou shalt not steal. This really is the law of sharing. This is the law of sharing. It's the law of sharing. In the Old Testament, they had it where you were to share. Even people that were poor, they had it built in so that they would share. If you owned land and you had harvested a crop, you left some for gleaning, for individuals who would come after you. The poor, it was left for the poor. The corners, and then they would deliberately leave some of the extra harvest in the fields for poor people to come and glean so that they would have something to live by. This is the law of sharing. It is the law of sharing. And so it blesses us. But I tell you this, as long as we have at least a population of 2 people in the world, the 8th commandment will always be necessary, thou shalt not steal. As long as 2 people are in the world, you'll always have to have that. I was in the gym one day, and a man was putting his lock on the lock, and then he turned back and looked at me as soon as he was clicking it down. As though I wanted his soiled clothes and musty shoes. And he said these words to me. He said, this lock is not designed to keep thieves out. It is to keep honest people honest. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not steal. When you think about it, I mean, I had a pastor friend in another part of the country. I was ministering for him, and he took me, showing me his brand new church, and he took me to an area where the choir, changed into their apparel, and a place where they had lockers and all of this stuff. I saw, the pocketbooks and stuff all locked up in these lockers. And I'm like, this is a church? What are you doing with lockers here? This is a church. Thou shalt not steal. And now, I know that the reason that they'd had that is because they'd had a problem with theft in the church. Don't think it's just in the church. Please understand this. The church is a microcosm of the society. If it's in the society, and then folks from the society come to the church, guess what you're going to have in the church? And so some people are so deluded that they will use one of those, again, a rational lie, and say, I don't want to go to church because those church folks are not right. But again, the church is a microcosm of the society. If there are deceitful people in the society, there are going to be deceitful people in the church. And so we are a microcosm. And there are some people who use the excuse that they don't want to come to church because some folks in the church are not right. Well, guess what? You need to move out of your neighborhood. You don't need to go to work. You don't need to go to Walmart, any other public place, you know, because there are going to be some folks in there who are not right. And so you find in the church, whatever you have in the society, you're going to find some of that in the church if we are honestly going to have a policy where whosoever will, let them come. And if people, regardless to what their issues that they are struggling with, the church is a place where God's people, right or wrong, are able to come and receive the power of God, the Word of God, the Spirit of God, where they ought to still worship Him. You know, God causes it to rain on the just as well as the unjust. And they ought to come and at least thank Him for His grace and mercy, you know, extended toward their lives. And so we have to realize that not everybody has been fully redeemed. And that is, you know, sanctification is a process where you have to work some things out in some of the old nature. You can press folks in the church who hadn't been saved too long, and they'll slip back because they still remember the vocabulary that they had back in the world. And if you push them too hard, you'll hear some of that vocabulary coming out. But we have the 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal, because we live in a time nowadays where individuals on the job, they steal time from their employers. Goofing off, doing kinds of things, handling their personal business while at work. You know, surfing out in cyberspace. They're on MySpace and Facebook and going to pornographic sites. On the job time, stealing time, and time is money. Time is money. So you steal more. Some people say, well, you know what, I don't steal. No. Maybe you need to check and see whether you honestly are stealing time, whether you are stealing ideas. We call it intellectual property. If you steal the creativity that comes out of somebody else's mind, you're stealing intellectual property. I've had my credit identity stolen. They didn't steal anything. They didn't even steal my credit card. They stole my credit identity and went out and charged over $20,000 worth of stuff in my name. And all of a sudden, I'm getting bills piling in. And then they took the credit identity and opened up other cards, and I'm getting cards in the mail that I didn't even apply for. And they're coming in, and they have run them up. And I get over $20,000 of fraudulent charges because somebody stole my credit identity. People can steal time, they can steal ideas, and God knows all of these illegal websites where they go and steal people's music, knowing that there are anti-piracy laws. They are robbing artists whose whole dream has been to make money, and then you're stealing bootleg material and buying bootleg stuff in the beauty shop, the barber shop. You know. You are stealing. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not steal. People steal clients. They have no integrity. They just steal each other's clients. They steal sales territories. I know pastors who steal people's members. Listen, if you've got another church that's ministering your spiritual need, I'm not a sheep thief. I don't want to anymore steal anybody else's members than I want to steal somebody else's children. I've got 5 children of my own. I don't need any more children. I don't want, you know, I've got enough members. I don't have any desire to steal anybody's members. You do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And so I don't want to steal anybody's members. I don't want to steal anybody's clients. I don't want to steal anybody's money and anybody's possessions. I don't want to steal anybody's affection. I know people, you know, that just get stuff because they're with you because you're interested in them. They're interested in you. And they will just, they'll you know, you're just getting what you can get out of the relationship. You get the material stuff, and you're really stealing their affection because when you accept their material stuff, they think you like them. And you are stealing their affection. You are stealing their hearts when you really don't care anything about them. You're just using them because, you know, it's like, you know, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. And you're just using them. It's sort of like the way that boy, as a teenage boy, he uses the pretense of love in order to get sex. And a girl uses sex in order to get the pretense of love. And so each one just trying to give each one, and it's a dog-eat-dog world, but you're stealing somebody's affection. You don't know what it's like to have your heart toyed with because somebody was messing with you, making you think that they liked you when they were really using you, and they stole your affection and toyed with your heart and messed you over. You don't have to raise your hand if you've been a victim of that. Just keep looking straight around. But there's a kind of thievery where individuals can steal your dream. You share your dreams with somebody, and somebody starts bursting your bubble, telling you to wake up and smell the coffee, and trying to bring you back into reality, and telling you, well, do you know how many people have failed trying to do this, that, or the other? And they become dream thieves because they stole your dream right out of your heart. I know people who are negative by nature. They're just negative by nature. And every time that you say something, they've got a negative comment that comes out of their spirit that's always got to attack you. Oh, you know, you dress up nice and they say, oh, you think you're looking good. They have something to think. They have something to say about everything. Oh, look at them, the way they carry themselves. Look at the way they walk. They think they're better than everybody else. Look at her. Look at Miss Fangs. She's always trying to have her hair did. She only want one strand of hair out of place. Look at her. They're trying to steal your self-esteem. When you steal the esteem of another person, you know, just because they are negative and they are robbing. Can you see the different ways? See, we think that when thou shalt not steal, well, you know, I don't ever go in and take any property that belongs to someone else. There's more than property that you can steal. You can steal time. You can steal ideas. You can steal people's music. You can steal videos. And I know people who had their music stolen. People that have written jingles, and next thing you know, somebody else has stolen the idea, sold it to industry, and it's on television. You'll be surprised. You have to protect what God has given to you, because somebody who is dishonest is looking to steal something from you, whether clients and territory and possessions and affections and dreams and their self-esteem. We have all kinds of names for it. We call it petty larceny. We call it grand larceny. We call it fraud. We call it embezzlement. And there are a myriad of other variations that we call it. But when we take something from others, we actually make ourselves smaller. We really diminish not only the person from whom we cheat or from whom we steal, but we also diminish ourselves. When you take from another person, you diminish something in yourself. You diminish that God element that is in you, that is made in the image and after the likeness of God. You diminish that. And then when we turn our life into a giving enterprise, you actually grow larger. You grow larger when you give to other folks. That's why the Bible teaches in Acts chapter 20 and verse 35, it lets us know it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. It's more blessed because when you give, it makes you larger. It takes largeness of heart to be able to give to another person. Individuals who are small of heart, they are greedy and they want more for themselves. They say, I ain't giving you nothing. I had to work for mine, you work for yours. And that kind of greediness makes you small. You don't grow when you live life with clenched fists. It is only when a farmer releases what is in his hand that he grows to be, well watered. You see, it is the liberal soul that is made to be fat, to be prosperous, to develop. And see, the best things in life, they are the things which last, and they are the things which bless. These are things like character. They're things like having a clear conscience. They're things like having self-respect. And there are things like having a right relationship with Jesus Christ in your heart, a right relationship with God. And you see, we lose all of those things whenever we steal. You lose your character, you lose your clear conscience, and you lose your self-respect, and you even have diminished your relationship with God whenever you steal.